From NBC News, it says raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour, a proposal supported by President Joe Biden, would result in the loss of 1.4 million jobs, but would bring nearly 1 million people out of poverty over the next 4 years. The study conducted by the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office was also found that increasing the minimum wage would raise the cumulative budget deficit from 2021 to 2023 by $54 billion and would drive inflation, resulting in higher prices for goods and services. The CBO evaluated a proposal that would gradually increase the minimum wage, reaching $15 an hour by 2025. Okay, so $15 an hour minimum wage. The stuff about the deficit increasing by $54 billion, that's the kind of thing that should disturb us. We should care. That's an argument that should be effective, is pointing out the increase in deficit. But what we've discovered is that really nobody cares about the deficit. Nobody cares about spending. This is just the truth. Both sides of the aisle, we take turns pretending to care when the other side's person is in office. I mean, how many conservatives over the last 4 years of Trump said a damn thing about it's too much spending, deficit? All that was out the window. It was very little was said about that. And that's just the way it goes. And of course, but on the left, there are people that sort of became all of a sudden budget hawks under Trump, and now it goes the other way. So this is the way it goes. That is not going to be, it should probably be an effective line of argument against any plan, is by saying how it'll increase the deficit. But it's not. Now, the part about losing 1 million jobs, there you go. I mean, that's something people do care about, should care about and do. And in fact, speaking of it, related news, I think, this is from Biz Journals. It says Kroger is about to test its first store that offers only self-service checkout lanes using enhanced capabilities. Downtown Cincinnati-based Kroger, the nation's largest operator of traditional supermarkets, plans to launch the pilot test of the all self-checkout store in Dallas on February 17th. It's converting one of its smaller stores on Cedar Springs Road for the pilot. Now, this is not, they're not directly making a connection here, but I think we can see the connection. If you try to force these companies to pay people $15 an hour to do labor that just isn't worth that, especially when it's labor that can be replaced with machines, then that's what's going to happen. I don't like it. Personally, I would much rather have the people there having, even as an antisocial person myself, I will use the self-checkout lane just on antisocial grounds. So I guess I'm part of the problem as far as that goes. I mean, if you give me that option, then I'll take it. But I recognize that in reality, it'd probably be best if I didn't have that option. It'd probably be best if there are actual people doing those jobs. So that is better. But you force these companies to pay $15 an hour, and this is what's going to happen. As I've said many times, the minimum wage should be zero. That's where you start. That's the minimum, or maybe a penny. Like that's the actual minimum of what labor could possibly be worth. And you go up from there. And one thing that gets lost in this discussion is not only are you wiping out jobs, but if you're forcing the employer to pay everyone $15 an hour, effectively giving a raise maybe to some people who have not actually earned that and aren't doing a job that's worth $15 an hour, then there are going to be a lot of other employees at that store who could be worth $20 or $25 an hour, very worthy of promotion and raises, and now won't get it because the government is forcing the employer to give a raise even to people who haven't earned it. That, to me, is also a problem. I mean, we've all had this experience, right? When you go to a fast food place, you're interacting with customer service. We've all gone into a grocery store or to a fast food place, and we've interacted with a customer service representative who basically just when you look at them, it's like they're trying to visibly murder you. You can see visible hatred in their eyes. It's not even just bad customer service. It's hateful customer. They hate you for being there. So we've all experienced that. But then we also experienced customer service people, someone working at a register or working at fast food, who's just wonderful, delightful. They put a smile on your face. They're absolutely on top of it. The idea that they should be paid exactly the same or that person who hates you just for being there is automatically worth $15 an hour. All they do is show up, put in absolutely zero effort whatsoever, and they're automatically worth $15 an hour. No, I would rather free up these companies to pay someone like that, like $5 an hour. I mean, you're putting in zero effort, zero. The only effort is just to walk in the door. So pay them $5, and then that really awesome customer service representative who's really on top of it and makes you feel good, and you know they're just really, really good. Pay them $30 an hour. That to me seems the most just, the most fair. Hey, listen, hit the subscribe button. Do it right now. I demand it. And I thank you for your compliance. It is somewhat appreciated.